Laughter and Love, the story of Terry and Trixie's dinosaur family. Once upon a time, in a land far distant with beautiful surrounding, far away, there lived a group of dinosaurs. These dinosaurs were not your ordinary, run-of-the-mill creatures. They were special, because they were all incredibly funny and loved to play pranks on one another. The leader of this group of dinosaurs was a T-Rex named Terry. He was the biggest and strongest of them all, but he also had the best sense of humor. He loved to make his friends laugh, and he was always coming up with new and silly ideas for pranks. One day, Terry had a brilliant idea for a prank. He decided to play a trick on his best friend, a Triceratops named Trixie. Trixie was known for being a bit of a neat freak, and she was always preening her beautiful frilly head. So, Terry decided to sneak up behind her and put a pair of fake glasses on her face while she was busy grooming herself. Trixie was so startled by the sudden appearance of the glasses that she let out a loud bellow and jumped up in surprise. But when she saw that it was just a prank and that everyone was laughing, she couldn't help but join in. She put on the glasses and started prancing around, pretending to be a bespectacled Triceratops. The other dinosaurs couldn't stop laughing at Trixie's silly antics, and she was having so much fun that she didn't even notice when a new dinosaur arrived on the scene. This was a Stegosaurus named Stanley, and he was quite taken with Trixie's silly appearance. He couldn't help but stare at her and laugh. Trixie, who had always been a bit self-conscious about her frilly head, suddenly felt a new confidence with the glasses on her face. She started to strut around, striking poses and making silly faces. Stanley couldn't take his eyes off of her. He thought she was the most beautiful and funniest dinosaur he had ever met. After that day, Trixie and Stanley started hanging out together all the time. They would go on long walks and have deep conversations about all sorts of things. They shared a love of comedy and pranks, and they were always making each other laugh. As time went on, Stanley and Trixie's friendship turned into love. They knew they were meant to be together and they decided to get married. The whole dinosaur community came together to celebrate the union of these two funny and lovable creatures. The wedding was a grand affair, filled with laughter and joy. As they exchanged their vows, Trixie and Stanley couldn't help but laugh and giggle. They knew that they were meant to be together forever and that they would always make each other laugh. And so, the two funny and lovable dinosaurs lived happily ever after, pranking and joking their way through life, always finding new ways to make each other laugh. They were the happiest creatures in all the land, and their love for one another only grew stronger with each passing day. As Trixie and Stanley settled into married life, they decided to start a family. They wanted to raise little dinosaurs that would be just as funny and playful as they were. So, they set to work trying to hatch some eggs. But, as it turns out, hatching eggs is harder than it looks. They tried everything they could think of, sitting on the eggs, turning the eggs, even singing to the eggs, but nothing seemed to work. Just when they were about to give up, they had an idea. They decided to play a prank on the eggs, and see if that would do the trick. They put fake mustaches on the eggs, and started telling jokes and making silly faces at them. To their surprise, the eggs started to crack and out popped a group of little dinosaurs. These were the funniest and cutest dinosaurs you had ever seen. Each one had a little mustache, just like the one on their egg, and they couldn't stop laughing and playing pranks. Trixie and Stanley knew they had done something right. They had successfully raised a family of funny dinosaurs, just like they had always dreamed of. The little dinosaurs grew up to be just as playful and silly as their parents. They loved to play pranks and make each other laugh, and they were always coming up with new and creative ways to do so. Trixie and Stanley couldn't be happier. They had a wonderful family and a loving home filled with laughter and joy. They knew that they were truly blessed, and that their love for each other and for comedy would never die. Years went by, and the dinosaurs grew old. But even in their old age, they never lost their sense of humor or their love for each other. They would sit on the porch, watching their grandkids play and tell stories of their silly adventures and pranks. They were grateful for the life they had built together, filled with love and laughter. And so, in the land of the funny dinosaurs, a T-Rex named Terry and a Triceratops named Trixie lived happily ever after, surrounded by a loving family and a lifetime of laughter.